Good evening, everybody. Welcome to what is arguably the most exciting, anticipated, and important match the entirety of the winter 2023 ETF2L Premiership season. It is SWIFT versus the Shadow Wizard Money Gang, which, by the way, I just have to point out every time I say it, it's the best Prem team name we've had in seasons. Anyway, before I get ahead of myself, I'm Surny, joined by JMax on the production and DuMmTm on the mic. How you doing, bud?
Pretty good, pretty good. Yeah, I am very excited for this one. This is a long-standing storyline coming to a conclusion today, so it should be exciting.
It's a grudge match for the ages. Mac versus his former team, effectively. It's gonna be quite a fun one. They've been hinting at this, you know. They were brothers in arms, Danny and Mac. They were brothers in arms mere months ago. And now they have to fight each other for who gets to be not last place in Prem this season.
Maybe so. I mean, things can still change, but losing this one would put you in a very bad position. That one's for sure. You don't want to lose this one right now, not against, you know, your Turkish brethren. I guess there used to be more Turks on this roster on Swift, but well, we're keeping numbers up still with 2.
It's still good enough, I suppose. But yeah, both of these teams currently winless. I mean, they've gotten a point, I guess, but they are winless for the most part across the entire season. And we're in week 5, so they don't have that much left in time to catch up, right? So they got to make it count if they don't want to be lost, if they want to proclaim themselves as not the worst, objectively, the worst team in Prem this season.
Yeah, and it's we talked about it a lot already. This season is so good. It is one of the most competitive seasons in ages. Dare I say all time, really. Everyone's been so close. These two teams have been, you know, failing getting actually many maps this season, but they've been still really close with most of them as well. And it's been making for really, really good gameplay all around. And ultimately, they might be the ones that've been falling short a little bit this season, but that will just make the head-to-head all the more exciting, I think.
Yeah, I'm all for looking at stuff like that anytime. But yeah, I mean, This is a bit of a toss-up match because I feel like if we're looking back at the start of season predictions that everybody made, right? I think people expected Swift to struggle. Obviously, they were, you know, coming up from Div 1. They had a bit of a roster shakeup with Mac leaving. People expected them to struggle a bit. On the flip side, people expected Shadow Wizards to do a bit better than they have been so far. I mean, they've been struggling probably more than you'd expect, especially against. To be fair, they've had only tough matchups so far. You know, New Panzer, CSG, TF2 easy. That's tough. It's not easy at all. But yeah, I think people expected a bit more out of them than they've shown us so far. Anyway.
Maybe so. It's been, like I said, a couple of close cases here and there, of course. Well, after all, even both rosters got the 1 point somewhere along the way. But it just wasn't quite enough just yet, and that clutch factor is a big deal. A team like DuMmTm, who is also playing tonight, certainly had plenty of that as well. They had many close games, but they won them all. Still yet to play the top 2, I think, outside themselves, but it's just something they're missing here a little bit as well, and it's been costing them quite dearly. I think number 1 Wizards fan hater, I'm not sure, Dowie, always has a lot about their gameplay to say as well, and it's been like improving steadily a little bit here and there, but just not enough to really catch up big time the way a roster like this is certainly able to play, at least, I would imagine, on Wizards. And yeah, like you said, Swift obviously is the up-and-comers for the most part, right? Obviously not the super new players in the grand scheme of things, but certainly the least experienced as far as Premiership goes in relative terms here. Have not a whole lot to lose, I want to say, this season, and honestly just a whole lot to gain. They've looked really good at the best of times, so I don't know, they have places to go from here for sure, even if this might not be their season just yet.
Yeah, as long as they stick together, they have potential. I mean, the core of that team, you know, Sneaky, Danny, they've been sticking together for a bit now. Oh, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they want to keep it going, if they can motivate the rest of the team. At the end of the day, your first season in Prem is almost like as a fresh team in Prem. Like, you know, as an individual player, depending on the team you're on, sure, you can make some splashes. But as a fresh team in Prem, your first season, it's always going to be a bit of a struggle, especially when it's a season like this one, which is unbelievably stacked in terms of competition because everybody's just suddenly getting back into TF2 for some reason.
I will say it seems to be a very abusive relationship between Danny and Sneaky specifically. Every time Sneaky's playing Highlander games, there's just Danny in chat just saying the meanest things and I don't know, denying the Welsh of being a country and things like that. and just generally just being very cruel to his teammate. But it's a tough love situation because they only got here together.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they gotta rely on each other. Either way, our first map of the day is going to be Process. It has been picked by SVIFT as well. They wanted to play this map so desperately. SVIFT want to play it so bad that they chose to ban everything else, I suppose, or just wait for this first. It's pick bans always a contentious point. How much do they matter? How much does it really make a difference at the end of the day?
We've seen them matter a little bit this season. These map picks been coming to fruition quite a bit. People have been looking a decent bit better on the maps so far generally. There's always obviously the awkward situation where you don't get to pick every map every week as well, which you do have to keep in mind. So, you don't actually get the choice of choices every single time, but you still get a good selection every time as well. And yeah, SVIFT wanted Process. And I am honestly a little surprised Mac and Gang didn't pick Granary. I guess Mac, with his knowledge, probably knows very well how good they are on Granary, though. A map that his team very much is big fans of as well, I imagine. So it just puts the awkward position here where you have that extra bit of knowledge, and you might not want to pick one of your best maps if you know it's also really solid for your opponents, and just throw them a bit of a curveball. Curve helps you do that, especially in a week like this. There's, I think, 2 or 3 weeks like this season where there's both Curve maps to pick for at the same time, which means if a team wants to play either of them, they do get one of them guaranteed.
It's an interesting thing you mentioned that with being aware of your opponents, because at the end of the day, yeah, Mac has played with that team for at least a couple of seasons before this, right? So he knows mostly what that team is like, what SVIFT is like, how they play for the most part. Sure, they've shaken it up a little bit. They've got a different main calling structure now, probably. I don't know how much Impo does to step into that role. But either way, they've got a different structure there. But for the most part, at least some of that core that they've built with Mac around, he's gonna still be aware of it. He's gonna know more or less what they're gonna be scheming, perhaps. If he's done the map talks with them and stuff, he might know what to expect. I wouldn't be surprised to see like some cheeky, crazy predictions happening, like where he just like pre-fires a pipe somewhere and manages to perfectly airshot Danny because he knows exactly where he's gonna jump from. I don't know. That'd be funny.
I think speaking of Impo as well, that's like a one to keep eyes on this season as well. He's obviously filling big shoes in Mac's place on SVIFT as well, for one. But also the last time, I think it was 2 seasons ago, a little bit ago anyway, shortly before this season, regardless, the last team he was on at that point, he did end up getting cut from, not because of gameplay quality, but because of just mentality issues, just raging too much. I think it was something like that. Just not being, the good vibes the team needed at the time, and just being difficult to handle, so to speak, as well. So if that's not an issue anymore, I guess it's come a long way, and if it is, then we'll see if it hurts them in any way, shape, or form. Certainly a narrative to keep in mind here a little bit as well. I'm sure he would not like to hear that. That is obviously not something nice to have a bit of reputation for, but at the end of the day, right, if he overcomes that, it's still big strides to come from, I guess, and I don't know, this roster is obviously not doing the best it can, but at the same time, given circumstances, I think they're doing pretty well for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, having to shake up the SVIFT roster as well, like after 1 week with Gregory departing, coming into to fill that role, and honestly doing a very admirable job considering, just stepping into a team that, well, you have no experience with whatsoever, and then trying to salvage whatever you can, trying to be the saving grace for a team that was very close to falling apart at some point earlier this season is no small feat at all. So the fact that Poise stepped into that medic role and done decently well with it is very nice to see as well.
Yeah, especially since Poi's usual medic structures they're used to is playing with Yak and 5 French people. This is a bit of a different one this time around. Maybe that works out just fine for them. No, I mean, we'll see. And yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one. Process is also an interesting one to see this season because I don't get to see it much this season watching the lot of games. Yeah. The noobs don't get to play this map this season. Only the good players do. In Prem and Div1, everyone else doesn't, I guess. Simple as that. And yeah, a little bit of a change up from my perspective at the very least. Maybe for some people playing the game right now in the low divisions watching tonight as well, finally getting to see this map again. I was wondering a lot during preseason as well, how much people realize down in mid if they even get to play this map or not. Because I saw people scrum this map for a very long time after maps got announced.
They just like Process, man. You can't blame them. It's an all-time favorite. But yeah, it's an interesting switch up for the lower divs. They get to see the forbidden fruit by watching this game tonight, I suppose, if they if they so desire. That's something to think about.
And
anyway,
a off game as well, which is always nice to see.
Yeah, true. Considering we're about to go live, if you're gonna have to make a prediction for the scoreline at the end of process here, what do you think we're putting it at? What do you think it's gonna look like?
The funniest possible scoreline where everyone feels a loser. So I want 3-1, 1-3 in this order.
Okay.
Just like fairly convincing wins each, kind of.
But like it's a bit of a slog, maybe. And okay, yeah, I like the idea of them actually tying tonight, so that they're both still tied for last. That would be fucking hilarious. That would actually, beautiful. I would love that. That'd be great. Yeah, you know, I'm gonna agree with that. That's absolutely wonderful. Let's just go with that. Both of these teams tying, so that they're stuck for last place still. Then again, you know, Shadow Wizards, they have some easier matches coming up after this. And Swift, I think they've gone through most of the hard-ish ones by now,
Don't
right?
they both still have Natty left to go through as well?
Yeah, which is the dark horse.
Well. That's going to be very interesting games too, actually.
Yeah.
For both of these. Those three are going to be like fighting for survival down there.
I love to see it. Either way, we're going live. These teams want to make their way to the mid-fight on process here. And as long as we don't get baited, which does not appear to be the case, we'll be seeing how this first little mid-fight shakes out. Yes.
You were here with me last week. I spy with my little eye. Thing that starts with direct hit.
Oh, the Jordy DH already, huh? Okay, well, it doesn't matter because Mac's the first to fall. EDK just managed to get a fast rollout and caught off Mac, who was just a bit too fast himself. And there you go. That's the mid-fight one for Swift. Quite swiftly, I do say so myself. Unfortunately, that's all they got. They got the Mac.
Yeah, what are they doing?
Oh my lord! What is
clicking buttons? No. Oh god! It almost hit the back as well. But does not quite connect. Info shuts them down. I guess to explain the law here as well, Jordy just likes this gun. And last week in the match, we didn't stream against Wood because that wasn't exactly close. He used it as well at some point, and the match somehow got closer after they switched to it. The same can't be said right now.
Yeah, it's off to a rough start for the Wizards here. They're struggling. They find themselves on last. The Ubers come in as well. Boys popped it off, so they just gotta basically play the point at this point. There's some sticks they gotta worry about. Pandemic's clearing them, and they've got most of the Wizards spawn kept. Unfortunately, Uber is faded. Now they gotta fight for it. Opti's the first to fall. Traded for EDK now on the other side. Health not looking too great for, well, either side here, but way worse for the Wizards. And now with just two players left trying to defend here, Patchouli trying his absolute best to keep him alive. Actually manages to hold onto the point ever so slightly, but man, that's a lot of cap time. They gotta stick to that thing like glue. Unless,
that was unfortunate. Sneaky was behind the point. He just chose a slightly bad timing before everyone else got the beam again on the combo to heal up a little bit and push up again. By the time they were ready, he was dead already, and it was just too early that he committed. Cost him quite a bit here in the end. Surprised he didn't die trying one more time there at the end. Certainly could have worked out given the damage they've done, but opting to play it safe here, and it's still a bit of a precarious one. They're still on critical after all on blue. They did not switch off that thing whatsoever. They want to win their way, and to be fair, that worked pretty well for Mac, Af, and Jordy at LAN anyway, so who's to say it will look any different today?
Yeah, but at the same time, the burst mine that Chris Creek was Pickles. Maybe a bit of a different crit's caliber if you're thinking about it, at least in terms of LAN. Either way, I'm sure this defensive crits against an Uber is going to work flawlessly, and there's going to be absolutely no problems with it whatsoever. Sure, I mean, all Varner needs to do is just get a nice little headshot onto, well, a crucial target, ideally Poi, but anything will do at this point. That'll already stun them trying to push in on the side of Swift. The Sentry going down, unfortunately. He's gonna spell a bit of doom for the defense, though, and, you know, that's just going to open up a bit for Swift.
Swift had a lot of very slow games this season. And
true.
The fact they didn't really win any of them is kind of telling about the success rate breaking these damages as well. So I don't know if this is where they want to be right now.
Surely they can just... I mean, if at this point they might have just seen that Patchouli's on crits and they just want to push in. That's what they're doing. They're taking a lot of ground, finally playing the cap a bit. Using the Uber as well. Obviously, it's not been used on the other side. There's nothing they can do against it either way. Patchouli's just trying to stay alive, keep the team alive. Unfortunately, everybody's in spawn and can't block the point. The first round goes the way of Swift in just under 4 minutes.
Yeah, seeing what you're up against in the case of critical, for example, it can be hugely important. By the time the surprise factor worn off here, suddenly Swift was all over this, just all threat removed from that push. They can just pop whenever they want to, and what are they going to do? Run away, try and live? Good luck with that. We're just capping the point. Swift gets the lead. First round going their way relatively quickly, often considered here back to the mid fight. And I still hear the direct hit running out of Jordy, but he hasn't been getting into prime positions to use it just yet. Maybe the mid fight can change things up a little bit, but there we go. Nice one already. Max, first one to die on his team this time, but not the first time to die in general, because Jordy is cleaning them up.
Jordy Opti just bumping him behind as well, doing a lot of damage, managing to just clean up a little bit of damage on the combo there. Only scouts and Poi left. They're running for their lives already. And
sticking with the crit quick as well.
Yeah, those wizards, they're keen. The crits, the direct hit, unfortunately, does not quite connect. It's almost like a sniper rifle, but unfortunately, the surprise is gone. Sneaky tries to stay behind. It's a magic missile. He's casting magic missile. That's all it is. Oh my lord. Well, they've grabbed second. Unfortunately now, Poi's got an Uber, so yeah, Swift are just pushing back out to retake it. Basically for free. They grabbed Jordy as well as a little present to go alongside it. And they can keep rolling this forward. I mean, that's a full Uber ad.
Do you think this is mind games as well? Like, they wouldn't do this if this was a different, like, lower prem this season? They just do this because it's Swift and they want to exactly win like this against them too?
Well, like just the mental warfare,
yeah.
the psychic damage you can do if you manage to win with a DH soldier just owning you. I mean, it'd be funny. Uber ad has been lost. Patchouli does have crits again, and if they can get a nice sticky off here, that could do the work, and it does! Poi cannot pop in time, eats the crit sticky to the face. That is that taken care of. Unfortunately, Patchouli dies in the tail end anyway. And matter of fact, players on both teams are just dying towards the tail end. This is a very messy fight, but it's a lot better for Swift right now. They're finding the frags they need to. It's only Opti left on the Wizards, and he's got to go up against 2 on the point here, which is not an easy feat. He's just going to have to ground out of there for the time being. Unfortunately, they can't cap second either because they're just too low on health, but still, bit of time bought for Swift. They're going to have their spawners coming up to mid anytime soon now, and probably retake control of just the situation in general.
Yeah, clutched out the med kill there. Turkey number 1, 2, I guess that depends on where you rank kills. Scout Pandemic gets that med kill, brings them back into the picture and might just keep the middle life. They're trying to repush already here, just testing their luck into this midpoint, but also it's spawned again. This is a very sketchy fight to take. It's like a bad midfight where the red team's already taking so much position, but they're hitting really good damage on blue. There we go, Scouts drag them to the high ground, forcing them back further and further. Bomb comes through, Impo. Good night. Doesn't even fall to his death anymore. Will just die in the skies, and on it goes from here. Really, really tough push to make, but it will work out just fine. Slowly might be lagging. Maybe he tapped out. Maybe he got a very important steam message. I don't know what that was. That looked weird. But he's back now, it looks like. So all up into last already.
Oh, the crits come into last. Are they gonna get anything with it? They get Danny. That's about the only kill so far. Max just laying down his crit stickies wherever he can. Jordy gets killed by an air blast. And oh no! Why do they just walk out? Surely they would have known that there were stickies there. Well, yeah, Opti's just gonna cap that off. All right, yeah, that's how you love to see that. If you're a Shadow Wizard, that is absolutely what you love to see. A very successful crits push there. I do not see them pivoting off of this anytime soon. This is working well for them.
They've casted the instant win spell, and the point got turned blue right away. Works out just fine for them. Tide is right back up, turns out. Maybe the DH Soldier crits isn't the play. DuMmTm might still be tried and true for a reason here on the triple damage. Let's see how it goes on mid as well. And this is awkward now, so they have to expect these crit creeps going to midpoint, and the longer this takes, the worse it will get.
Yeah, spare crits will be ready first. It will definitely turn the tides if they allow it to happen to be a thing. And losing 3 players is not spelling great things here for Swift. They're getting cut off by Opti bombing as well. Impo gets taken care of. It's only Sneaky managing to barely escort out his medic here. But the Wizards are on the chase. They know there's some magic mushrooms waiting for them on this last point, and they want to claim them as soon as they can. I mean, Joy's already in, App is running in with Patchouli and Mac as well. They're going to use these crits, trying to just stick you off spawn. Let's see if Swift fall for the same trap again. Oh my god! Snipe through the shutter door and spawn. Boy, dropping to that is just...
The Shadow Wizards found a way to play with 2 scouts and 2 snipers, and it's working.
It's incredible. What in the world did I just witness? Swift, this is a massacre for them. Oh no. If they can hold this point, honestly, that'd be a darn miracle at this point. I guess they don't have to worry about an Uber on the other side. If they can just go off the back of pure raw DM here, there's certainly a chance. They just got to contend with the fact that Patchouli's going to have a crits again very soon. There's a lot of cap time as well. They got to get on that point. The Wizards are actually choking it. I can't believe it.
I should have just gone in when the vat was down. Shouldn't have let him spawn to begin with, but there we go. Points up again, and the chase is on. Can't let escape. There we go. Big chase.
It's a
find it right away. And the Turkish Civil War will continue on at a tie for the time being.
Well, it's not quite over just yet. Swift are still in this. We are back is the mindset they're in now. They can keep this rolling forward. I mean, Boy is gonna have such a huge ad here. It's gonna be full, basically. Pachuli's just now spawning. Probably still in the crits anyway, so it doesn't even matter. It's gonna be a damn massacre for the Wizards here to try and hold on to this. They gotta really try to make it work, and if Swift wanna move fast enough, they gotta. To make sure that this Uber doesn't fade away. They could work for them. Opti's on the sniper as well. They seem to be aware. They're being cautious. Poise positioned in no sight line. Jordy gets taken down. That's going to open things up a little bit here for Swift as well. And yeah, the rest of the Wizards are just going to back out to last. They've realized there's a position they're in. They're just going to try to hold that last point as best they can. Maybe get a crits ready to catch off these Swift players, but they're not waiting. Swift are going in, and they're not even using as early as they could have. They're just taking this as deep as they can. There goes Mac taken care of. They have the crits ready on Ath. He's only gonna find the demo kill though, but Julie gets taken down already. There's no heals for the Wizards here. It's so dire to try and hold this with no medic healing at all. 2 players alive, both soldiers trying to get out of spawn. It's not gonna happen. That's the second round, 2-1, Swift.
That could come in so clutch as well. It was so close to being great. Get soldier early and then just melt through the rest of them, but they got out so quick on Swift. Beautifully managed to avoid what they very well must have been aware of is the crits coming up on them as well. Gotta play around it, they're doing it well for now. 2-1 lead once again, and the battle of narratives here goes on a little bit longer. Critspeaks is once again up against the Uber charge into this mid-fight. We'll see how it goes last mid-fight. Jordy just kind of slapped him big time.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that works for them. Swift playing a lot more aggressively on these mids. Unfortunately, it's gonna bite them. Jordy's just two-shotting info just like that. Now they're gonna waltz forward. Everybody else getting mulched and Shutter here as well in sewer. Unfortunately, for Swift boys, that was Boy dying. Pandemic tries to run in, just runs into 4 people and a max sticky trap. We've got Danny hiding on 6 HP in show. He just gets spotted instantaneously. He's dead as well. It is a beautiful looking situation if you are a Shadow Wizard Money Gang fan, because they are primed and ready to take us to the last once more. They have a crits ready as well, and they look to be wanting to use it on Mac. He's already got the crit stickies ready. Is he gonna perform another miracle here? Another magic spell, trying to take down the medic and spawn once more. Maybe just spawn trap a little bit. We'll see. Either way, it doesn't even matter. Just cap the point. That works too.
It's right there, and they're all running away in fear from the instant death missiles flying their way. Not standing a chance, getting back to point in time this time around. Wizard tying it right back up, just going blow by blow, and we are far from over yet at this point. We might even reach the skull limit here. Best of 9, of course. First to 5 will win, so I mean, with the pace we have right now, that might just happen.
This is exactly what I'd hope to see out of this match. I definitely hope it continues at this pace, because neither team is giving this one up for free just now. See how this next mid-fight goes. A bit slower here for the Wizards, taking a lot of damage to kind of just force out of position. Varnu's the only one to die, but unfortunately that's bad enough. The one player that's far forward gets taken down, and yeah, everybody else is already backpedaled out, basically just leaving that scout for dead. So Swift win the mid for now, but it's nowhere near decisive, and the crits are ready for the Wizards, so you know they want to use them. But
and Jordy just deletes the demo man before anybody even pushed this one. They're just threatening to play in and already down a man.
Oh, and there come the crits. Unfortunately, Boy was ready.
Oh, no,
Boy had an Uber, and this is an absolute disaster for the Wizards. It's a complete crumble. They should have used their crit sooner.
Ooh, 2 kills at once.
Okay,
Only one of them works off, but Mvadu's still alive. Got the medic. Would have never mind. Almost.
Unfortunate.
Tough luck there. Will not work out.
Probably bought a lot of time, though. I
mean, the med kill alone is huge, right?
Yeah. Danny's in behind, trying to be cheeky, but Jordy's just got to tell him to sit himself down. Sit yourself down, son. You're not doing anything cheeky here.
The second Jordy feels himself enough with this thing. It is just another scout whose meat shots can be hit over longer range for more damage.
Sneaky's on the spy, and he's positioned right behind the enemy team here. Oh my goodness. He's gotten in that position very quickly. Now, everybody's on the point for Wizards as well. He knows everybody's there, so he doesn't have to worry about bumping into somebody. If he can get onto Patchouli here, that's going to turn it around immediately again. I mean, they don't have to worry about it necessarily because it's crits. As long as they play around it, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But Sneaky just being here, being able to provide intel, knowing where everybody is, huge amount of information. The team's moving in a little bit on the front side here, trying to be a bit of a distraction. He decloaks, ready to stab. Patchouli does not even turn around. No clue. Completely clueless about the whereabouts of the spy, and he actually manages to cloak and escape for the time being as well. Almost gets a trick stab on the scouts, but has to settle for just trying to gun them down before finally dying. Either way, it's amazing for Swift.
And there we go, this could bring them back in the lead as well. Another quick round to the scoreline here. A couple roadblocks in the way of that, though. Engineers, gun taken out quickly, sniper spawn right back onto a different class as well. Heavy, but Link's got the point. Left for cap time already here. Get one kill, but indicates on the spawn. Good for after the spawn. The Heavy does some good damage here. All of them flooding towards the point. They want to definitely bring this back, but they're just getting out damage here at the end. And the Met stuck alone will lose their life as well. Toy goes down. That's the last one they can see die now, because this might just turn all the way around. Judy's going to have good advantage from here.
Yeah, and they're actually running a normal Uber on the side of the Wizards now, so...
Oh my god.
I can't believe it. I guess they've decided that that's just how they're going to be trying to do it now. A bit unfortunate,
this is the
bit
thing, though. They
disappointing.
won't see this one coming, and then they switch back after this.
Yeah.
Insane.
They're gonna run normal Uber now, and Swift is gonna be like, oh, they're probably still running crits, so they're gonna be expecting a crits, and then they're just gonna get Ubered on and just completely dumpstered, and then right after Patchouli switches right back to crits. Unfortunately, right now this little push attempt isn't gonna work because Jordy just dies instantaneously, and they're gonna have to wait for that spawn or find a different way to get into this midpoint. Swift certainly holding very aggressively for a team that's very much down on Uber. But I guess they were just confident enough. They find Jordy, and that's all they needed.
Considering this might as well still be crit streak from all they know as well. Holding close like that wouldn't really want disadvantage actually. Very surprising to see that, but gets rewarded, and without Jordy, you're not making push of at all. So actually working out quite generously here, all circumstances considered. But what now, right? Game is finally slowing down a tiny bit. Everyone's catching a small break here, but for how long? Time's ticking still, of course. Owen has left this round, and it's a tight game. Gotta win somehow. There we go. That's a start. Big rush on the flank by Swift. Not waiting around here too long in this damage. Trying to actually make something happen quick. Don't want to be worrying about winning late. They want to just be in the lead as much as they can already. And for that matter, just get in here with the kill they have, make an exchange out of it.
Yeah, and it's going well for them so far. They find Varnu on the... it just left out of the Uber, and EDK finds a fadeaway trade there with Jordy as well. So Swift still in the lead at the post-Uber here. Trying to even take us into the last little bit. Unfortunately, Danny gets absolutely dumpstered by Opti. Trying to make his way bombing in. Opti's going to have a word with that, and obviously taking down the demo and Yimpo as well. Is going to completely shut down the Swift push. It's not going to happen. They're going to have to just hightail out of here, get back to mid. It was a valid attempt. Unfortunately, you get unlucky sometimes, I guess.
This is an opportunity to switch to Kurtzquake. This even wouldn't have been with Kurtzquake, just saying. Maybe you should have stuck to the guns here. Now they have to awkwardly grind out the even Uber 7 once again. And Swift made this look really easy last time, actually, right? Just found one kill. That was easy to come by this time. If they even just hack a guy, right? And then good exchange from there. Got them in almost into last. They had opportunity anyway, as much as they beat that one, maybe. So they're threatening what they have on for strat so far. Let's see how this actually looks like now. From a bit of a different angle, approaching from sewer this time around.
It's a different idea for Swift here, but they're just taking a lot of spam here. I mean, Jordy can't do that much in terms of splash, but still, they're taking a lot of damage in just sewers there, and for what? Send an EDK to just die to the scouts, and oh well, now you gotta get out. Opti's done the same behind you, and unfortunately for him, doesn't get a kill, but did a little bit of stalling. And yeah, we're into the classic stalemate. This is a very different game from what we saw just 5 minutes ago. I don't know what happened. I guess probably seems like they used up all the little sugar rush they had from eating a donut before the match, and here we are. It's over. They're just like slowing it down.
There's no way they have stopped the sugar rush already. There's enough Muslims here that they have eaten good tonight. You know, it's Ramadan and all, so they are full of energy, bursting at the seams probably still after, what, 10 minutes of gameplay, 20 minutes of gameplay? They're not be running out of energy anytime soon, I hope, because it's been a good game so far, and it's not over yet. They need a little bit more to win, so gonna get all of the energy they have.
Oh, sneaky!
Keep it going. There's the bomb behind as well at the same time, and that's gonna get just enough.
Yeah, Sneaky running in, EDK bombing in as well, managing to get the early force out of Patchouli. Boy's gonna respond with his own Uber. It's gonna be a bit tough considering there's less people on the Swift side, but they can make use of that Uber. They find Patchouli. That's a crucial pick. Now they just gotta keep Poi alive, and they're struggling keeping themselves alive. Danny, Impo, Poi, and Pandemic are all dead. EDK is the only one alive, and he literally just spawned. So I would say that was quite a disaster, actually. Quite disastrous for Swift here.
Could have gone better, I will say. Wizards just out-DMing them here a little bit. That's one fast way to turn this back around. Everyone gets fought, but that doesn't matter so much. In fact, everyone takes the forward spawn and EDK spawns back at the same time. That's kind of funny. He gets into spawn from his teammate and then doesn't leave spawn second. Not a big deal. I don't think that's gonna get punished, but you can just tell they're panicking about how they actually want to handle the second point. Bit of disagreement here if they're falling back or not. Looks like they are opting in the end to stay, putting traps up, getting themselves in position here, but they should be well aware that they're likely up against some slight reset here. However, what they don't know is that we're back,
it's a crit streak, baby. We are back on the crit streak for the Wizards, and they are ready to use it. It's almost ready. They're already positioned in sewers. They maybe know. Okay, I've found the stickies. They're cleared. But you know he's eyeing it down. He's waiting for the exact right moment to tell Patchouli to right click, and there you go. He sneaks it in. Danny is the target. That's all that really matters at the end of the day.
Too. Will live,
would have killed it, but yeah, boy manages to force it out. So they're gonna stay alive for the rest of it. But now in the post-super fight, they're missing a player. Danny's still out of it. So if the Wizards want to push in, now is their chance. They are a player up. They have the perhaps the damage advantage here. Sneaky's out of the fight as well for a bit with low health. And Opti bombs in behind, finds info, does a lot of damage to Poi as well. Is anybody going to be able to clean that up? The scouts trying their best. Max going to be the one to do it. Opti's still alive as well. They got Pandemic trying to do the same on the other side, only finds Afto. This is very, very good for the Wizards.
This could put them back in the lead late into the game as well. Last third of the match starting now. Decay in as well. Weird graphic is also plays that bring this match back for the side of Swift, but this one's not it, unfortunately, for the Swede. And this is just now a crit streak against 3 to last. This should be very easy to. How did Max this? That's whatever. They just switch to someone else and then it works out in the end. All forgiven. Just flash the scout, flash the DH soldier, doesn't matter. Just hit literally anyone. There's 3 people to shoot. Not that difficult. They will do just fine. 3-2 for the Wizards.
They're making it interesting. We've got about a third of the map left, so it's still anybody's game, but after a bit of a slog of a round, the Wizards just go back to Old Trusted, bring back the magic missiles, and suddenly it all goes their way again. And that's exactly why they're continuing with the crits, even on this round once more. We're going to see how that mid goes for them. Jordy's pretty fast this time around. Very, very early grounds to be taken. Unfortunately, he has to actually hit rockets in order to make use of that direct hit. As long as he doesn't, could be a bit of a tough one. Long mid fight so far. Nobody's really dying. Nobody really wants to bomb Jordy. I understand that. That's kind of dangerous. Danny's going to finally man up and do that. Trades out for EDK and Sneaky on the other side, though. That's not necessarily great. Crits is ready as well. Mac is primed, ready to sneak in a little crit sticky, and the entirety of Swift are bunched up, and there they go! Beautifully snuck in. Impa almost eats one as well. App is gonna get flashed with the crits a little bit, try to clean up that kill. Oh my god.
Actual going on, truly on poised Minigun for the last push now as well. Still has 62. Oh boy. They are performing illegal acts of magic. Someone get the police on this one. This is not legal.
This is looking like the Wizards might be trying to run away with it, because this is going to be a nasty one to hold. Oh, I feel bad for Swift here, man. It's going to be a tough hold. Patchouli's got the Uber ready now. They probably know that Patchouli probably picked it up. Like, there's a good chance Poi could have even seen it in the kill cam or something. Either way, they know now. Uber comes in. They're gonna take down that sentry very easily. And Swift are gonna just have to kite this as best they can. Oh my god. What's with Mac? He's actually a wizard. He's just sneaking in these spawn kills somehow. That being said, it took a little bit longer than they could have, but either way, Wizards win that last push quite handily.
Spellbook. He can't be stopped anymore. Oh no, this might be the end times for Swift right now.
This is the shadow magic working its work here. Man.
Printing money with their wands as we speak. And Swift is just their poor little victims here of 2 rounds down with this little time left. It's looking tough out here.
It's still possible, certainly. Swift has found their way back into this before. They just got to find their way back into this again. Unfortunately, Jordy bombs Yimpo with the direct hit and absolutely annihilates him, completely turning the tide of this pit fight instantaneously. That being said, Swift does the same to the entirety of the Wizards combo and kills almost all of them. It's just Patchouli and Opti left. The Frenchie's trying to make a work here. Unfortunately, Patchouli's left for dead, and Opti has to somehow get onto Poi here, which isn't going to happen because Pandemic's going to have a word with that. So, there you go. Swift is back. We are back, bros. We are so back.
Maybe. It's doable. Let's see what they can cook up themselves right now as well. This is going to be a long road to go though still to make this happen. Love the fact always playing with the sniper side lane as well behind defense just in case, and the boss is never peeking, so it is actually getting rewarded for once in a lifetime. Doesn't happen all too often in situations like this where you are just going to push you bad into last second anyway. Didn't get the kill on Varno, that hurts a little bit I guess, but you know, if they just get nearly as good a last push as the opponents did just now, then you have not much to worry about. This should just be a clean cut deal here, right?
Well, we'll have to see how well that goes for them. The Uber does come in. They managed to find essentially quite quickly, and they get a lot of cap time as well. But their Uber is faded. Now they gotta actually fight, and they've already lost a player. Pandemic is dead. EDK and Danny both behind, trying to make some plays happen. You just get some damage on the heavy, but they can't clean it up at all. And the Wizards are just hanging on to this point quite handily, with the rest of Swift escorting themselves back out to second, and probably even further as Mac is already kind of trying to chase them out to get these rats off of a second point and just secure this.
They've run very far. They have Kritzky coming up again as well. They're staying anywhere close once again. This could end real bad real quick.
And they're ready in IT. You know there's going to be a Kritzky flying towards Choke. Fortunately for Swift, nobody's there. Everybody's actually kind of close, out of sight of Max, so that Kritz isn't going to accomplish much this time around. They play around it very well. Danny just nukes into IT, takes down everybody. It's only Varnu left as the sole survivor for the Wizards, hiding in sewer. Nobody's checked them there, so there you go. Might be a bit of a cheeky scout play coming up here, but Sneaky is looking around.
Pushing last is a lot easier when they're all dead.
Yeah, but unfortunately didn't cap second yet, because Varnu wins the 1v1 against Sneaky, and there you go. Now you gotta send somebody back. You can spawn cap as much as you want on last. You got nobody cap in second, and Opti's gonna sneak out there as well. To try and help with now getting EDK off the point. Impo is very low in health. He just got there. Okay, managed to save one pipe. Unfortunately, Varnu cleans that up. Varnu is being an absolute menace on the backline right now.
Someone's got to win this round, and Varnu took it on themselves to do it. Oh God, they still haven't capped yet as well. No point, get DH down. With Jordy just rolling up casually to second. It's over. It's over.
It's so over.
Rest in peace, Swift. It was fun while it lasted.
This is as much psychic damage as you could possibly do. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, this is Nevada Kadabra. This is Crucio. They're just torturing them at this point.
And they have a crits ready again as well. Patchouli ready to use that onto Mac once more, or maybe a scout. We'll have to see what the decision ends up being. Maybe they don't even have to. Maybe they're just gonna, you know, bully their way in for free. Danny's certainly trying to stop that from happening. The crits did get popped off, and they didn't accomplish anything. I guess just a bit of a panic pop. But either way, it doesn't even matter much at this point, because Swift have to pick up 2 rounds in the next, just under 4 minutes. It's very tough to do, especially when the Wizards have been kind of in control of these defenses for a lot of it. And there you go, Danny dies again to a sticky trap. The input eats a lot of damage and choke. Jordy just kind of chill on the low ground. EDK tries to bomb in, manages to do a bit of damage to the combo, but crucially can't get onto Patchouli with a second rocket, as that first one is just surfed away. And they're holding on to it. They're holding on to it on the side of the Wizards.
Well, 2 and 4 minutes might not be happening. This is not speedrun goal splits I'm seeing right now. This number's turning red quickly, both on the timer and maybe also just on the ETF2L scores after tonight. That luxurious green 6 is escaping them by the looks of it already tonight, but I mean, you can still get a yellow at least. The free is not possible, but it's gonna look better than this on product. And I don't know that now. This was their opponent's map pick after all. Coming up next for Swift.
That being said, this nice little Uber exchange here went okay for them. They managed to use an Uber into the crits. It went okay at first. They managed to use an Uber into a crits. Unfortunately, it didn't matter, because Impo walks onto a lingering crit sticky and dies to that, and then everybody else kind of just gets cleaned up as well. EDK is on literally a sliver of HP before finally getting cleaned up. So once more, Swift fumble the back quite severely, and now find themselves even further from the goal of trying to at least like get a point out of this map.
Yeah, it's not escaping them. It's actively just running away from them at max speed. The C-bomb comes through as well, hoping for the best lead, and he just piped and sticky down immediately, not standing a chance. Does leave Varnu unprotected on second themselves here, but oh no, Opti just makes up for it. They're looking at the scout, and he just jumps right over their heads, gets the med kill, looking good there. Panic Rift comes out now against what is little more than a sacrifice at this point, but again, who cares if you're losing as long as you're losing slowly.
God. But surely, maybe even managing to escape here if you can hold his ground against EDK. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. They've already won anyway.
Snobby.
EDK can pick one up for the logs, I guess. But mathematically, we've gotten to the point where it's the Wizards' game. They can do whatever they want. They're in control of it. They're gonna win the map. They've got themselves 3 points secured, which means unless Swift take the next one, they're not gonna be lost.
Yeah, this is a step in the right direction. 4 points for them on the tables already after tonight. So, all going according to plan. The instant kill spell works brilliantly, as it turns out. And we'll see if they're continuing to use that on product of all things, actually, as well. That's very curious, I suppose, to see if they're going to continue doing exactly this for much longer.
Yeah, I do wonder how that's gonna go. They do like sniping. You can see the occasional snipe come out of the Wizards. Varnu on it right now. Opti loves it as well. So maybe we're gonna see a bit of a return to the sniper form on product. It's been a while since that's been the meta. We'll have to see if that could be something they do. Either way, Swift trying their absolute damnedest here to get at least one more round on the board, make the scoreline seem a bit closer than the round ended up being. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's gonna be happening with Pandemic and Poi making the run for it once more. GGs are already being called in chat. They've accepted that it's over. They're just gonna Uber in, get another medic kill there just for the sake of it. And yeah, I think that's about it for Swift. It's over.
Yeah, there you go. 3 points being traded already tonight. 3 more to go, as it is in ETF2L per win. Product's gonna be a tough one, though, I would imagine. Maybe they get the morale victory round at the end as well, just to make themselves feel better about the whole thing. Certainly 4-3 is a bit more of a telling storyline here, or scoreline for the way the match ended up being overall. So if you just look at, results later as the lazy person on ETF2L, then this is not inaccurate, I suppose.
Yeah, it was somewhat close for the most part, until Swift kind of, let it slip away a little bit towards the tail end. Either way, that is about as good of a match as I could have hoped it to be.
It really is. Mac is nothing but a man of the people. This is what I meant him for my chat earlier.
He got over 300 DPM.
Ooh, congratulations.
which is funny considering how many crits he's had pumped into him. Impo still got more DPM somehow.
Okay, that's actually kind of sad.
Like Mac got like crits like I don't know 11 times this entire match and somehow did less damage than Impo. That's interesting.
The crits could kept out by Hattie, I suppose. It would have been more damage by law if the first 2 crit streak didn't go to Jordy for some reason.
Yeah, true, I guess. Speaking of, he did quite a lot.
Ooh, I'm just glancing over the other TFTV game we have tonight as well for the double header, I guess. For anyone not aware, Team Fortress TV 1 or just Team Fortress TV on Twitch also streaming right now for the YouTube viewers. This match is simultaneously as the board for 4 fans against New Panther. I'm seeing that one, and right now this is very interesting results I'm looking at. So just a good day for games, a good week for games if you're counting, the other games as well that are yet to take place, and one of them is next week too. So this is the banger week.
Yeah, there's a lot that they stacked this week. They knew exactly which matchups to do, and these are the ones.
To be fair, there's a lot of them this season, so.
Yeah, this is also true. There's a lot of great matches. We're feasting. TF2 fans be feasting this season, man. I'm telling you.
Maybe so.
What is telling here? Just taking
the Turkish players here are fast. I don't know. It doesn't work. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean, it's probably true, but still.
It is telling. Looking at the stats though, like just the overall stats, the Wizards did, despite running crits like the entire game, they did way less damage, like significantly less.
I mean, yeah, at some point they just really caught on to counterplay for the crit streak specifically. At some point they mostly win almost regardless of crits, just like having better fights overall, outgaming people in ways and just taking smarter fights in general, and the crit streak just rounded them off. Where these like raw crit streaks into a team well prepared for it a couple of times were just not getting them any value anymore. The one to mid comes to mind at the end or somewhere, right, where everyone just nuked them on entry completely, no one could take any space, but it just didn't get Swift enough value in the end to actually turn on these rounds because they struggled so much on last. Both the stalemate ones and the advantage ones just were really lacking on the last push potential, and the breaking open the last point in the stalemates as well. So a lot to be improved there still, but it's a very different map ahead, so I don't know how much we'll see of that right now.
Swift botching last pushes, not on my watch. That never happened before. I mean, it is telling, like, with the damage difference, I think that, like, it paints the picture of how Swift, they do a lot more damage. Like, individually, the players, like, hit shots. but it's never quite enough to get the kills they actually need. They don't have the cleanup. They don't have quite enough focus to actually focus down the crucial players or the key players that they need to when they need to. And that's how this ends up being a loss for them, despite the fact that it was perfectly capable of being a win if they had not botched a couple of last pushes. So,
all right. Production, big content request after this game ends. I want to hear the Turkish national anthem on stream. Thank you. This is very important to all of us. Because one way or another, Turkey wins tonight in some capacity.
In one way or another.
Numerically, I guess it would be a bigger win for Turkey if they both win a map, I guess.
Ideally, yes. That is true.
We'll see if they can manage to live up to that expectations. I don't know, we talked about the map picks before already, and as we come to the realization that this is in fact Wizards map pick, I'm very scared how good Swift is on product, actually.
Yeah, I haven't seen them play I've seen King of the Hill at all. I don't even know if I've watched them play Bagel this season, so...
Let's see what they did last season, actually.
Yeah, I guess that's true to look at. Again, Mac might even know some of the strategies here, but that's going to be interesting. I mean, it is Wizards pick at the end of the day, so maybe they can work their magic here. Either way, it's gonna be an interesting one. For one, it's not gonna be as stalemate. that's a good sign. Potentially, one team is gonna run away with. Potentially, we're gonna have a close match. Either way, it's not gonna be as long. And yeah, I want to see if they're gonna run the crits somewhere. I want to see if Patchouli is gonna commit to those crits some more. It looks like for the time being.
It is.
Yeah, it looks like for the time being, that's what they're going to do on the side of it.
That man will spy for second and fourth, so just to make sure that they know what they're up against.
Very, very clever, very clever. So they know, probably, I would assume they know on the side of Swift that they're going to be going up against the crits here. So let's see how this first little fight on the point is going to shake out. The soldiers bombing on both sides, a bit deeper for the Wizards, but EDKs and Jimpo are going to be the first to go down for the side of Swift. Danny in behind as well, buying a bit of time, being a bit of a distraction, but Jordy's there to counter him. And Jordy, I'm afraid he's no longer on the magic stick. He's gone back to stock. So, yeah. You know.
Well, I mean, you win some, you lose some, I guess. It's not all decided yet, I guess, because the Euros haven't been used yet on either side. So the big surprise factor is yet to be thrown out of this one, but they know it's there, so they can't just blindly run a point, fully aware of the fact that instant death missiles are once again waiting for them.
Well, potentially anyway. I guess Swift are also very well aware of this. Yeah, they're just gonna run in with their Uber, get a good Uber out of it. Unfortunately, Impo is dropped out of it ever so slightly. Doesn't get the flash in time. Lands directly on top of a Chris, taking care of Danny, taken down Jordy and Patchouli on the other side, though. No heals for the Wizard means it's Af and Mac versus the world with no heals either. Mac is just getting nuked down. Af running for his life at this point. Nothing that you can salvage as a Soul Scout versus 5 players, and there you go. Swift retake the point. Now they just gotta hold on to it, and I believe Patchouli, is still on the crit streak as well, so they're gonna keep rolling that on the side of the Shadow Wizards.
Yeah, I was just worried with Zero when the Demoman died. They fell back real quickly and Swift managed to get a good defense going out of this whole thing. Gotta keep that one up as well now, because counterplay is coming in quick already. Bomb up high and behind by Jordy. Tries to land on the pack, but immediately counteracted on that. Does not have a quiet moment back here at all. Tries to get some backup going as well, but Opti is taking so much damage, he's surely just gonna get traded out pretty quickly. Tries to disappear all the way through spawn. At this point, though, the red team actually just threatened their way onto the cap, while Swift kind of just letting them get away with this, really concerned in the backlines. Uber comes out so late. This wasn't really even a force as well, they just thought they could still catch them.
Yeah, they Uber trying to make this like a fight or something, but the Wizards were out so far already. Patchouli in no danger whatsoever. They only caught a couple of stragglers. Now they have a crits ready on the side of the Wizards, and it's being used as well. Unfortunately, they kind of hunch into this corner. They can't do much with it, and Jordy getting taken down obviously puts a stop to it as well for any long-range hopes here. So the crits has been dealt with. Swift can at least catch a breath in that regard, but they still have to win the fight, and they're down 3 players, losing the point again, and the timers are equal, so it's not like they're certainly able to rest on their laurels just yet. They have to get back into this fight as soon as possible. They have a bit of an ad to work with. Patchouli's gonna build faster, so it could be equal by the time Poi gets that Uber ready. It's gonna be tight for sure. It's gonna be very tight timing here. And if either team manages to get the early jump here, that could very well decide the fight for them going forward. Sneaky trying to edge out a lot of cap time. We're actually just gonna let them get it.
Jordy goes down with that as well. There's so much damage up there on the soldier trying to deny this cap. Will work out brilliantly for them. Now the crit streak's up as well, but how do you use this in a matter that gets you value as well? Getting the medic snipes has worked a lot of the time last map, but The more you do it, the worse it will get, I would assume. Oh, there we go. Just go for other players as well. Get an early kill too, but you're still having an uphill battle here. Impo wants to get ahead of Lila a little bit with the bomb. Gets the flashback out, maybe so, but not for long enough. Scout behind him too, taking her pretty quickly, and it might just all work out in the end.
Maybe it's a weird one here for Swift. They didn't get as much as they could have with that Uber, but obviously at least they managed to keep most of their team alive. To the crit stickies. Back not really knowing where to aim, just blind firing them across the point. Manages to catch up a single scout, and that's it. And it looks like the point may very well stay in control of Swift here. I mean, the Wizards are trying to edge it out. They're trying their absolute best here, but they don't quite have the grounds just yet. They're a little bit scattered. They're finally pressuring back these Swift players. Jordy actually manages to get onto the combo. Nice damage there onto Poi, cleaned up by Af, and that could seal the deal for them to at least hold on to this point for a while, even if they lose Opti in the back lines. It doesn't matter. He bought a bit of time. He traded himself out for another soldier. There you go.
Alright, well, it's not a big lead on the time of the Swift, but it gives them at least some buffer room to recover from what just happened. And not having to play into an Uber might actually help them here as well. Poi needs to make sure that they get out of this, whatever happens here, pretty quickly as well. But getting rid of this Uber charge is going to be a lot easier here as well. In fact, they just use heads up trying to smack them early, but that's not inside after they pop, so it is pretty much just a very empty-handed force by the looks of it, and exactly what Swift wanted to see as well. Just as we reach even timer once again, now with it in the lead. They're falling behind on Uber quite a bit.
And even if it is a crits, even if it can build 25% faster, it's gonna be a tight hold to do. They're trying to do a little bit of a scuff forward hold. Unfortunately, Opti was all alone on grass. Sneak is just gonna bully his way through there with EDK.
Oh,
and Swift are back out. Nice little pipe by Impo onto Jordy, denying that bomb. You love to see it. He's laid down a little bit of it, and yeah, Swift are just gonna be able to bully their way back in here. Max actually gonna bomb in deep, trying to get out to Poi. Gets one pipe onto EDK instead, gets the fours out of Poi with some aggression by Varn and Opti as well. So I guess the sack wave was successful. Now they've got a crits ready on Patchouli. They're gonna be able to reaggress onto this point very soon, and they have to, because the timers are ticking down. There's not much left for either team here. If Swift can hold this, they've probably got the round in the bag, but vice versa. If the Wizards can cap
either
it,
wins or loses them the game right here on with it.
and they have to do it. Af going Pyro as well, making sure that the team can get out of this forward hold that has been established. Mac trying to bomb in deep, gets a nice little damage onto Poi, sends him into the skybox. Unfortunately, Medic lives though. Everybody else has died. It's only Varnu after Patchouli. Patchouli just uses the crits onto Varnu, making sure that maybe something can be done with it, but no! Gets cleaned up somehow. Sneaky lives on 4 HP, staring down a crit scout into the face, and it doesn't even phase him.
Yeah, who cares? You have 3 times damage, we have double the shots, and half the targets to shoot, and that might just get Swift there. I was very worried. This fight was starting to fall a little bit out of hand here, but I think by the spawns at this point not good enough to rush this back point, because the first few players are racing to the cap, but so easily picked off at the end, and it all will work out for Swift, clutching out round 1 win. But early leads have not mattered too much this match yet, so we'll see how long this will last.
They won the first round on the last map too, so it never means anything. Sneaky checking again on the rollout. What Medigun Patchouli's running here, just making sure that they're aware of the crits, and yep, they are gonna be indeed expecting that, hopefully, as Point hasn't really tried to do anything else on the side of Swift here. They're just gonna stick with that Medigun and make the most of it. And it's been working well so far. Unfortunately, Poi is in a bad spot because Jordy's just flanked around. Mac does a lot of damage as well to help clean up the kills onto Sneaky there. Impo gets taken down. It's trades on either side here, but it's so much better. So much better for the Wizards. It's only Pandemic, and I'm pretty sure he spawned. So, yeah. It's over.
You take those gladly. Once again, mid-win with crits out of this one is always a bit of a weird position, because you always want to be the one team on the move with crits more than not. Now you have to kind of just react to them, and the Met can successfully bait, which probably has managed to get away with a lot last round. Then this crit might not get anything that they're looking for. Don't really want to just sit here getting forced with this thing at all.
Yeah, that would be quite bad. They gotta make use of it while they have it. They know where the entire Swift team is. Mac is rearing to get stickies in there, but Swift are aware. They know they're staring down a bull charging them down if they're looking at Mac for too long. Trying to sneak in somebody else on the other side, see if they can get a force off. They've got a bit of ground, but not much to work with. Still Wizards holding them back, holding them at bay. And because Poi's gonna take so long to get that Uber ready, they're still in danger. They're nowhere near in the clear. All it takes is Mac just saying Patchouli right click and getting that right sticky at the right time. There he goes, tries to sneak one in. Can't quite find the targets he wants to. Impo's just gonna bomb out as well. He's not even gonna get caught, so now all they have to worry about is some landmines potentially that are deployed here. Get the scouts to clear those up, make sure nobody runs into them. and they get rid of all of that. So it's in Swift's hands now. They got to make sure that this push works out for them. The Uber comes across the point. They got to catch up as many players as they can. They find Mac early. Jordy's back on the DH. Is going to be enough to actually deny players here, though. He does find Danny. Before getting cleaned up himself, Varno gets taken down as well. Boy, in a bit of a pickle here, kind of just sandwiching Opti between himself and Sneaky. But Swift managed to retake the point, but already half the time was ticked down for the Wizards as well. That's pretty good.
Yeah, Poi just took matters into their own hands. They're arrowing the soldier down all alone. Well, this Scouts is trying to survive desperately. Will work out in the end. A bit of forward hold again. This should catch up timer quite a bit now with this forward hold, but they do not have yet. And this is a crit quick. I don't know how this plays out, really. It's not a position in the game I've seen too much on product. Forward hold with the team in spawn on crit quick. And the other team doesn't have it. A bit of a weird one.
Okay.
Pyro crit.
Fritz the Pyro. Interesting. I mean, if it works, I guess. Pyro. I mean, you gotta run the Pyro anyway for breaking the forward hold. Might as well crit them.
He's behind him.
Oh,
no,
it doesn't.
Piped down instantly.
Max just eats him for breakfast like that. Jordy gets taken down, but it's a small price to pay for perhaps retaking the point and making sure that Swift timer doesn't tick down too much. That being said, Poison Uber, and they're gonna use it straight across the point. Imbo bombs in deep, so low on HP. Very aggressive bomb there, honestly. Yeah, immediately realizes the mistake. And, well, they lose Mac and Opti on the other side. Probably not as much as Swift could have hoped for. At least they hang on to the point, but now they're staring down that crits again. They know Mac has spawned. They know he's gonna be coming forward soon enough. And EDK Danny trying to maybe deny them coming out are just gonna get completely cleaned up. Arnu trying to chase a little bit as well, matching to back off again. They're just gonna let Mac take this one. Mac's gonna take the wheel on this one. He's gonna try to sneak in another crit sticky. Manages to, well, deny some ground with it. It's a zoning crits for now. It's just a zoning crits. That's all it does.
Space team. I made space. Go in. Get the point. I mean, hey, that's something, right? Just as it comes back even timer once again, they take it back at halfway through the round timer of their opponents as well. You just got to defend this somehow, and Boy's coming in Uber, so that might turn out a little difficult. Good damage by the flank side already here. First 3 kills getting traded. Sneaky goes down after getting in the kill already. Info caught off guard as well. Everyone on Wizards just really trying to make space up there. Not giving them much to work with, but they're trading in the end. And if there's invincibility coming up for the other squad still, I don't know if trading a 2-for-2 is exactly where you want to be. Wizards will have to fall back for now, and the point quickly turns blue one more time.
And it's gonna be tough. The Wizards are now working this from behind as well. Even if they get this crits, they have to make sure it sticks instantly. Otherwise, you know, Boy's just gonna right click and it's all over. Mac tries to bomb in, gets the force out. The entire sack wave is there. It gets cleaned up. But they managed to get the force out cleanly. This is exactly the type of sack wave you'd love to see. I mean, yeah, it would have been better if they survived somehow, but this is as good as it gets. Now they just have to deal with the forward hold and then make their way out of here. Are we going to see the pyro crits again? Perhaps. It certainly seems like that might be what they wanted to go for. Maybe they'll just find their way in without it. Either way, Af is back on the pyro. They're going to crit them, and they're going to see how much you can send it. Danny tries to bomb around, actually sneaks in with the air blast. Oh, that was dangerous. That was dangerous, and you let him kill Patchouli, so this could be a second round for Swift. I think that seals it. Af being a bit too keen on the right click there, I think might have just lost in the round.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird play to make anyway, the crit quick pyro. Because the more time the pyro has to spend being the one that gets the crit quick, the less you spend air blasting as well. It's a weird position to put your team in any capacity, and it's not been paying off too much right now out of this forward hold position. And Swift just reaping the rewards for plenty of time ticking down here. Last minute total on this round for sure at this point, but it looks like it's gonna just be their time ticking down until the bitter end. Bombs come through deep, not letting them take any space at all. Everyone's so weak and barely any of them survive to begin with. A lot of overtime, but no time to get back to point.
Yeah, it's gonna be very tough for Wizards to make anything happen. There goes Patchouli, there goes Af, there goes Mac. Manages to trade up for Danny at the very least. Jordy trying to Hail Mary himself onto the point, same for Opti, but neither of them can do it. Second round for Swift here. They are in control right now, probably because the Wizards are running crits religiously for some reason.
Okay, I went to the Twitch page of our stream right now and reacted with "oh no," because that is exactly how Wizards are feeling right now. They had so much fun last map, but it's looking a little bit dire now. Switching off the quick streak as well, desperate times, go for desperate measures, and stooping to the levels of their opponents to go invincible instead of dealing more damage. Unbelievable.
Well, it worked for them last map for a bit. They switched to the Uber and it turned the game around for them, so I suppose we'll see if that happens once more, as they're kind of just managing to bully their way in despite losing a player on the first fight here. They just get like the cap. I guess Swift just decided to give it up for some reason. Just gave up the cap. We're like, whatever. Even though we have players, we don't have positions. Positions are so meaningful to us. Maybe they were still expecting a crit, so maybe Sneaky didn't check, which would surprise me. Either way, both teams are going to have their Ubers ready here, so it's going to be an exchange any second now. As it's basically just whichever medic has the itchier right-click finger. It looks like it's going to be Poi.
Ooh, there we go, never mind. Yeah, they're taking a lot more initiative on this one, going in first. See if they can command some space with this one. Opportunity, a little weak post was going to be dangerous. IndyCage tries to sneak behind as well. Bomb right on top of them on soldier number 2 as well. Danny doing good damage as well, and helps clean up Opti as well. There's the counter sack though. Flying in on the medic, nothing else. Get that kill right away. Get the cap as well. But with the med going down, that's a bit of a double-edged situation now. Because you get the cap time, but your med going for so long. I don't think you're gonna stay on point for much longer.
Yeah, at the very least, you gotta try to like somehow send in a sack wave after this point is flipped and get Patchouli out of here, because it's the only way Swift are gonna find an easy recourse into this. Danny's exactly trying to take that initiative, gets in deep, does a lot of damage too to the combo, but there is no follow-up. EDK tries his best, but Patchouli is bunkered up. Never mind, not at all. Actually, EDK just sneaks in. For some reason, Patchouli was just like, I'll just stand in the doorway and take the rocket to the face. So there you go. That's exactly what Swift needed. They find that kill. Now they're gonna have an Uber ad to work with. Now they just gotta make sure that once this point flips, they get back there as soon as possible, because they are down on the time, even if not by much. They gotta get there.
Yeah, and the more you're down at the end, worse it gets as well. Gives the opponent so much more room for error as well. So want to keep this blue as much as you can right now as well. Get early cap time, not to spam exchange of the point. Max one really going big over all people just now, but it's just costing them a lot of time to heal them all back up as well. Falling back quite heavily in the meantime, and knowing Liba's coming up as well. Certainly don't want to spend too much time up front lines anyway. So giving up a lot of space here. Daddy might just get out of this one. Takes fall damage, but had beam attached. Will not die. Brilliant stuff for the soldier and the medic to keep each other alive just now. Vano on the point, quickly shut down, well ahead of the team. Basically just a one-man sack more than anything. If this was any other map, I think someone would go sniper with, but this has not been a game for people to just go sniper on product so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's a risky play anyway, and if your strategies already haven't been working all that well, it's an even bigger risk to take. They're just actually going to go for the exchange here. It's going to be a bit of a better Uber for Swift, because Poi right-clicks a slight bit later, flashes a slight bit less, but it's just a null exchange. The point is still in control of Swift, and even though the timer is in control, or much rather in favor of the Wizard, it won't be for long going forward if they don't finally get some damn cap time on this thing. Af going down is going to put a little bit of a wrench into that. Danny's still up on the rock, just being an absolute menace, denying so much ground on the cliffside as well. Finally gets bullied off of it. Finally looks like the Wizards are going to try to do a bit of point pressure here. They're getting a lot of cap time. They're edging it out ever so slightly. Not quite there just yet, but they're going to flip the point finally. And gonna try to get their timer back below Swift's, as both Ubers are still equal. Both teams have all the players alive, and it's just a very drawn-out fight right now.
Alright, 120 left each here. Still match points were big damage towards the combo. Mac really weak. They've got to be careful, but they got to defend this points while this win doesn't come from just sitting back and relaxing. They're gonna fight for every inch of this map at this rate. There's Liba coming out as well, getting forced eventually. Patchouli just taking too much damage. Swift gladly giving in as well, using second here. Ooh, Info getting taken down, however, makes things a little bit more complicated. Traded out at least, but puts them in a bit of an awkward position now where they could have chased maybe a little bit more, have to just sit back and let the other team approach again, and they're gladly running forward as much as they can. However, Mac on the wrong side of point, away from the rest of the team, just dies on his lonesome. Will be the first one to die this fight, and that's just enough for Swift to claim this point once and for all. And now with the final minute approaching each, things get very, very dicey.
It's gonna be very tight. I mean, if you're the Wizards here, you can't afford to take any more risks. This is your match point round. If you lose this, you've lost the map. Even though this was your map pick, you're gonna get absolutely bodied on it, and that would certainly not be great for mental morale here. And well, Af going down early certainly gonna slow that down a bit, but Varnu and Mac are gonna commit to trying to cap that point. They're gonna get denied a little bit. Danny wins the flank fight as well. Opti gets taken down. Both teams have an Uber ready again. But it is obviously better for Swift here because they have more players, they have better positioning, and they're gonna basically have to force the Wizards onto this position here. And Patchouli drops! Impo just connects a nice little pipe, so the fact that they pop first on the side of Swift doesn't even matter.
That's a big game changer. Alright, Swift does get the timer here down though, so whatever they do now, it's gonna be cutting it closer. Wizards, this is all they have. Production, cue the overly dramatic music I know you don't have ready, because this is all it might come down to now. This is all Swift needs. They can afford to fall back from point even, get this Uber ready if they need to, and then push back later. But they are not even trying to go the long way around. However, leave it as mag. We're seeing one medic bomb. In the meantime, the second one through on the other side as well. It works out right away, and it's a resounding victory on this fight. Have to delay probably for some spawners, but this just went every single direction it could have in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, like a clean surgical bomb in delayed by Danny to try to pick up Patchouli, but in the meantime, everybody's so concentrated on the combo and grass. Mac just seizes the opportunity, sends himself deep into Swift's combo, takes down Poi as well. So it's still anybody's game. That being said, the timers are tight and they cannot let Swift cap here because they will not have enough time to get back to the point. They got 2 seconds on the timer and nobody's getting to the point in time. Oh, just barely edging it, barely getting into overtime, but they don't have any players. It's gonna be Swift taking home the map 3-0.
And there it is. It's just that easy, apparently. Turkey wins, I guess.
Either way, Turkey wins tonight.
Yeah. Turkey coming out on top. Just a strong performance by Swift, really. I mean, even once Wizards was switching up the game, it was just a better showing by Swift on the COF map.
And I'm very happy that they tied, which means they're still both tied for last place.
And no one even has a leg up in the narrative they have against each other as well. Truly,
yeah, we still don't know. We still don't know which team is better. They haven't resolved that conflict yet.
Can they play a best of 3 after the season ends just to settle this?
Like, we need to know once and for all which team is the better one, but nah, it's...
Yeah,
Turkey wins either way.
Mac, Daddy, you guys need to play a best of 3 after the season ends. I don't care who's getting like the higher seeded position at the end between you two. We need a conclusion about which team is superior in this match.
I guess we'll have to see which one of them...
Game.
We'll have to see which one of them manages to beat Natty Newt.
Truly the final boss.
That's the final boss for both of these teams.
They
can't beat each
it's
other.
All coming down to Natty Newt and Faust.
Whoever can beat Faust, they'll decide which one of these teams is
who is
truly
the greatest player of all time. Benny who?
What a match.
Never heard of him.
Oh my
That was a fun one though. Like I said, they're nothing but men of the people, you know?
Mac did nuke on this map though.
A little bit here and there, yeah. Unfortunately. Maybe too little actually.
Just a bit. It's... Oh, I mean, so did Impo. He's not far behind, but... Yeah, like this was a decisive map for Swift. Like if they played like this on Process, this would have been a 6-0. that was crazy.
And it's fun how we talked about like map picks actually being really good this season for people, and then oops, actually
it's the opposite.
Oops, all opposite, yeah. Actually, we don't know what we're picking at all. But I guess it kind of worked out for both sides. They got points, and maybe they can win some lower table head-to-head matchups and still sneak ahead. Who exactly does each team have left, actually? Let me double-check this information. I believe both have Natty Newt, but who else? Natty Newt and for fans for HADOWWIZARDMONEYGANG, and Natty Newt and Swift has also Witness Gaming left to go. That one might be a little bit harder than the other one, but then again, both should not be easy, so it's going to be a rough race to the bottom, I guess. Really, if you want to put it that way, I guess. One way or another, Natty Newt is really deciding it all for them. Even just this week when they're playing as well.
You gotta consider, Natty Newt did tie Forfence. They took a map off of them, so... Yeah.
Anything's possible still in season 40, whatever we are in Premiership. It's just one of the seasons of all time, really. I mean, in every facet, this is just the content season, I think.
Historic. For sure. Wow. I mean, I'm out of things to say. This was incredible.
All right, well, we have another game still left to go. We mentioned both New Pens are still going, and they're halfway through map 2 already. This was a quick affair on the product, so stay tuned on TFTV for more information for games to come, and we'll see you next time.